What is going on, everyone? We are back with another video, and today in this video we are going to be going over how to structure your reverse diet and how to properly get huge after a show. So everybody talks about prep being the hardest part of bodybuilding. Now, I would have to disagree with that. I think the hardest part of bodybuilding is the reverse or the post-show health phase kind of period in bodybuilding. You're in this weird limbo where you've just competed, you've had this super high of competing and this massive goal. You compete, do all the cool stuff, and then the hype is gone. Now what? You wake up the next day, your tan's half rubbed off, you're hungry, you have no immediate goal in sight. What do you do? For a lot of people, this is the start of the downfall for them. So today, in this video, I want to walk you through how to set up a successful post-show phase and how to recover from your prep successfully and in the best way possible. A little bit of a story time. On my first few preps, I completely screwed the rebound. Every time. I would binge, I would have no control over my diet, I had no immediate goal in sight. I really just ate everything in sight post-show. And now what that does is, although your body is very lean and you can get away with eating a fair bit of junk food, after a certain point, you get to this point post-show where you just eat, you look better and better, full of crazier, and then one day you just wake up fat. You have all of this extra water, all of this extra fat that you weren't expecting to have put on, but if you continue to just eat and not really look after yourself and follow the lifestyle properly, you will get fat, you will ruin the reverse, and you will really shoot yourself in the foot for a long, productive off-season. So in the past, I have shot up 10, 20 kilos within a week and a half, 2 weeks even. That alone is extremely unhealthy. Not just all of the food itself, but your body weight being so much heavier in such a short amount of time puts a crazy amount of stress on your body. You do not want that. So be smart post-show, have a plan in place, and that is what we are going to go over in just a second. Now, what even is a reverse/health phase in bodybuilding? What is it? What's the benefit? Now, reverse dieting isn't just about holding condition. If you really just wanted to hold condition, you would just be eating at maintenance calories. The whole purpose of a reverse/health phase is to get your body healthy and ready to grow. There is no benefit in staying super lean for a prolonged period of time, especially after a prep. You are not going to be building any muscle in that state. You have been in a humongous deficit for a prolonged period of time. Your hormones are more than likely suppressed. Your training performance is down. Your hunger is through the roof. All of these signals that your body is giving you to get back to homeostasis and get back to being healthy. So the goal of a reverse is simple. Rebuild your metabolic rate, so bring up your calories to improve your sleep quality, improve your mindset around food and training again, because a lot of the time in a prep, people do get very food focused and they do begin to hate their training sessions by the end of a prep. So finding your love for bodybuilding, finding the motivation to stick to the plan, all that kind of stuff is something that you really should focus on in the reverse phase period. Because if you do not fix those three things and you head into your next off season, you are going to be cutting yourself so short in terms of progress. You need to master those things before you move into your off season. Now, how do we set up a reverse? So, the first week after the show really does set the tone for everything. So if you can do your very best to keep weight gain to a minimal post-show in that first week, that is usually beneficial. Although I I personally recommend people to go enjoy themselves post-show with their family. But something to keep in mind is if you have used diuretics or if you have done any water loading or water cutting, your body will respond in a very, very funky way that you are probably not used to or expecting. For example, in my last prep, I had one big meal off post-show, which was at the Cheesecake Factory, and 2 moderate days following that. I was up 14 kilos in 3 days. 14 kilos in 3 days. That is not healthy. And I didn't even eat that crazy amount of food. Although, when you are playing around with water and diuretics and things like that, you need to be far, far more careful about that post-show approach. For myself and for my clients, usually I'll be adding anywhere from 500 to 1,000 calories to that baseline diet that they were running in prep. That is mainly just to give them enough food to not be overly hungry, to not be thinking about food all the time, and to actually start having some good training performance and, start to increase the hormone production in the body. Also, with cardio, if the person has been doing cardio, I will tend to cut that cardio in half. As for when you are eating all of this excess food, you are going to have more energy. You are going to want to move around more just through your daily energy expenditure. Therefore, you don't need as much cardio. The main thing of what to do post-show in this short 1 week period is to keep routine. Routine, routine, routine. It is so crucial. If you've been waking up, doing your fasted cardio, waking up, going for a walk, whatever it is, keep that routine. Routine is key, and if you're a bodybuilder and have done a prep, you know how important routine is. So stick to your goddamn routine. Once you have gotten out of that little 1 to 2 week period post-show where your body was really weak and tired and all those kinds of things, we then begin the rebuild phase. This can go from anywhere to 4 to 6 weeks, in my opinion. It's you start this once your body has got to some kind of homeostasis. Your body weight has leveled out that little bit, and you can then begin to start increasing your calories by 150 to 300 per week based on your body weight, and really start to focus on performance in the gym and shift your focus away from aesthetics and more so towards performance-based goals in the gym. When it comes to this rebuild phase, everybody is a little bit different at the speed of which their metabolism kicks back in, or how their sleep starts to improve, or even their training performance. All of these things are highly variable and something that you just need to monitor for your client or for yourself. So if they are not gaining weight in this rebuild phase, increase the food or drop the cardio. I would tend to taper the cardio back down to a reasonable off-season amount, like an hour per week or 90 minutes per week. When you get into a prep, you could be doing an hour a day a lot of the time, but in this rebuild phase, I like to cut that right back down and just use steps as an expenditure method. But like I mentioned, performance in the gym is the biggest thing that we are really trying to rebuild here. Because, after that prep period, you are weaker, you are not as good in the gym, so you really do need to focus on rebuilding that training performance and setting a very, very good base for your next off season. Then we move on to, weeks 6 to 12 post-show, where now your calories have, they should be at a reasonably high amount. You have put on a decent amount of body fat, but not anything too excessive. You're still lean. Usually around this point, depending on the person, I like to see them up about 10% in body weight over this period, maybe even a little bit more, depending on their weight and who they are and how they kind of respond. But 10%, 15% is a good guideline to kind of keep for this 12-week period post-show. Once we kind of get into this period, we can start to stop thinking of it as a reverse diet and start to think of it more as your off season. So you still treat it the same, you still have that same accuracy and intensity when it comes to tracking your food, getting your rest in, training, all that good stuff. But now your goal is to grow. Your goal is to grow and get strong and build muscle. I like to implement either a new training program at this point in somebody's reverse phase, or just get them doing a different method of training, because this is where it gets fun. You potentially, if you're enhanced, you could be starting your next off-season push at this point, or even as a natural, you can still be beginning to start your next push phase. But especially as an enhanced lifter, you can push that a little bit earlier, as your hormones don't need to come all the way back to baseline like they would as a natural. This phase is super, super important to set up goals for the following year. So you finish the show, your brain is back to working normally, you are far less neurotic and making crazy decisions like you would be in prep sometimes. So what I like to do in this period is start to establish some new goals, new baselines, and new challenges for my clients and for myself in this period. With all that being said, I think the main reason that people really do struggle post-show is the lack of structure and the lack of a big goal in front of them. For 16, 20, 24, 30 weeks even, people prep for. That is a long time to have your mind set on one thing and one thing only. It can be quite challenging once that goal is gone, especially if you didn't achieve it. And even if you did, it is still quite a challenging period. So with there being no immediate goal in sight, like I mentioned before, setting a goal is super important, mainly just to have that structure in place of wanting to achieve a goal. Because when you have that, you really can lock in and focus on the task at hand, focus on the daily little wins, because that ultimately is what is going to progress you forward for having that productive reverse phase leading into that even more productive off season. But like I mentioned before, keeping that structure is super, super important. If you go for daily walks, make sure you continue to do that. If you read for 30 minutes in the morning or journal for 30 minutes in the morning before you start your day, make sure you keep doing that. All of those little things are what shaped you during your prep, and they are going to continue to shape you in this off-season / reverse phase, whatever you want to call it. But continue to do those same routines. Don't just get slack because there's no immediate goal in sight or no competition in sight. This is where this reverse phase, off-season phase, is where you set yourself up to have a crazy off-season. If you're somebody who really wants to gain 5, 10, 15 kilos in a big off-season, you need to nail this reverse period. Nail it. You need to be starting your off-season lean, striated glutes, lean, no love handles, all that kind of stuff. You need to be lean. Lean. So making sure you can keep your head on and not binge and not overeat too excessively. Still enjoy yourself, but when it comes to food, keep it social. I find that is a huge, huge benefit of eating food, especially when you're having free meals and things like that. Don't just order a pizza and ice cream and eat it at home and watch a fucking thing on Netflix. Go out with your friends, go have some sushi, go have a burger, whatever. Just get out. If you're eating at home, the tendency for you to binge and continue to eat and eat and eat is pretty damn high. So I would recommend keeping those free meals to outside of the bedroom or outside of your house. But yeah, if you do binge, it is not the end of the world. Don't starve yourself the next day. Don't push yourself extra hard the following day. Just get back on plan and continue on from there. It is going to happen. People binge post-show. People eat more than they want to post-show. It is just a thing that happens. You have been starving for months. It's okay. You just need to work on it and keep busy, keep that structure. And that's something that I really do try to enforce in my clients, is building a lifestyle that is structured and routine and that works with bodybuilding and keeps you busy and keeps you progressing in all fields of life. Now, if you are going through this post-show period right now and feel lost and unsure of what is next or what is coming, just know you are not broken. You just need a good plan and a good system in place to actually be able to follow and adhere to and get back on plan. I've helped a number of athletes post-show rebuild their mentality, their mindset, and overall just their food focus. I find that is something that is huge in a lot of athletes post-show. They don't have that goal in sight. I'm telling you, it is so important for you to have an immediate goal or something in sight, whether that be a holiday, a photo shoot, anything to keep you extra accountable. Make sure you continue to check in with your coach, everything like that. So if you want me to help you with a reverse plan or a post-show plan or a prep or anything like that, make sure you DM me, because I am more than happy to help anybody with those things and how to actually enjoy your reverse period. Every other period post-show I've had, I've been a depressed mess. So take it from me, you do need that accountability, you do need a plan in place, and if you don't, I wish you luck. Good luck. This is the hardest part of bodybuilding, but it's also the most important part too. It does set the foundation for an off-season. And if you want to be gaining significant amounts of muscle from time to time that you get on stage, you need to be nailing this reverse phase period leading into the off-season. If you have enjoyed this video and have found any benefit from it, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Or if you have any disagreements with what I have said in this video, make sure you comment below. I would love to hear your opinion. So, if you have enjoyed it, thank you. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.